ma'am.
I said, one day I'm doing it. Welcome to the most anticipated video of 2023. And that's why we didn't do it. To make you wait until 2024. The Peter McKinnon Studio Tour. It's literally a rectangle, but it's a very, very nice rectangle. And it's taken me a while to make it the best of rectangles.
You throw that over there for me.
Thanks, bud. Now, the reason it's taken me so long to film this, I change it every 5 minutes, it seems. I'm one of those people that come in and think,
I don't know if I like the couch, so I don't know, maybe this needs to... Should we get bean bags? Like bean bag chairs? You can sit here or you can sit here, but you can't sit in both spots at the same time. There's just so much space. Anything to not work, right? Maybe we don't even need a couch. Look, I fit everything within the perfect square.
but now that I moved the couch, those photos don't work on that wall, so let's move them to that wall. Almost a year later, I think I finally landed on something that I love. So, welcome to the studio.
Welcome to the new gear locker. Now, you might be thinking, Pete, where's the rest of your gear? This can't be everything you own as a filmmaker and photographer, and you would be right. It's not. There is another room where we call it the overflow. We'll get there, but this specifically is the grab and go locker. It was actually built for the set of Reacher, and my friends found it and were like, do you want this? Yes, I do. So we've got some motion sensor lights inside, and everything's broken down into cubbies. These two cubbies on the right are film. This is glass. This is all digital. And then these are all lenses. At the bottom, I've got two Pelicans outfitted with, again, overflow equipment, a mix pre, extra cables, chargers, batteries, all that kind of stuff that I don't want on display because that looks messy and it starts to stress me out. So there's a lot in here. If you want me to go over all of the things, my camera collection 2024, let me know in the comments below if that's something of interest. That is the gear section of the office. What I really like about it is the fact that the doors do close. So when it's looking messy or I'm feeling a little cluttered, I can close that up. It's nice and clean, out of sight, out of mind, and I just don't have to deal with it.
So this is the overflow gear room. This whole area works under the understanding that not all gear is created equal. So you don't need all your gear accessible all the time. What we have right here is the grab and go gear. You need lighting, you need a modifier, you need a bag, bang, 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 bang. Then over here, we have like the level 2. So these are things that you're not gonna need all the time, but you need a storage place for them, or boxes for hardware that you don't wanna throw away. Then gear organization, all the stuff that you need the most is in the top drawer, and it gets less and less and less as you go down. And then there's the things that we're buying for projects that we may be working on someday. This is like the gear closet, database center for archival footage, light stands, just things that we may need at some point, but definitely won't need right now. I find that Peter likes his office to be an experience, not a gear closet. That's why we have the gear closet up here, and I've set it up in a way that it's aesthetically pleasing, but also as functional as possible.
This is the desk. Last year, you might remember, I actually did like my minimalist desk tour, and there was nothing on it. I did do that for like 3 weeks until I felt like a psycho and needed things on my desk. So this is kind of a bit of a meeting halfway.
This desk is a beautiful custom desk made from my friends at Castor. They are industrial designers out of Detroit and Toronto. And what's cool about this desk is every single leg is individually cast from something different. One's a 2x4, dragon foot, really nice imperial leg. And this one's my favorite, which is a birch tree that has a big chunk out of it that was gnawed by a beaver. There seems to be a little bit of a beaver theme happening in this office, and that was totally unintentional, but I have a beaver skull, I have a beaver pelt, I have a stool that looks like it was gnawed by a beaver. That was also made by Castor. And we can't forget the beaver neon. That is the old Parks Canada logo. I couldn't be more Canadian saying those things. I'm in my Canadian tuxedo talking about beavers in Parks Canada. Get me a double-double, dude.
This is the lounge where we hang in the morning, we drink our coffee, we come up with new video ideas, we procrastinate, we scheme and come up with things, creative things. And sometimes we just come up with nothing and just sit here because it's comfortable and it's a good vibe. But that's important to me, having a spot where you can just chill if friends are coming over, if you're having meetings. It's right in front of the window, so if you're in this chair in the corner, this is the best spot in the whole studio. It's the most comfy, you can see everything. It's just simply the greatest spot right here. You've got access to glasses, to tequila, should you want some of that. You can grab a photo book. This is the greatest bookcase. Go get some cinder block from Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever. Get a piece of pine or plywood and just make a shelf. This whole thing cost me like less than 40 bucks, but you can just keep going. I don't know, there's a bit of artsiness to it. It's absolute perfection, this corner. And it makes for a hell of a portrait.
And on this shelf, I keep all of my photo books. And this year, I'm stoked to be adding my own.
I have been, within the last year, obviously shooting a ton of film, but instead of watching videos online, I wanted to start getting inspiration from old books, old photographers. You will learn so much. They're also cool because guests love looking through them. You know, that's another thing I actually learned from Matt Barnes. That's when we went to see him. He has a crazy book collection.
But let's talk about filming for a second. We kept the center open so we could move the camera around this area 360 degrees. My goal was to make every single angle of this studio filmable. So it wasn't just that's the good wall, don't film this side, I don't want that stuff shown. I want every single spot the camera can face to look good. That's why you've seen several different angles from this office, and it probably looks as if it's way larger than it actually is. And it's not, it's just everything has like a really unique section. And this video is sponsored by Squarespace. Now it's only fitting that this video is sponsored by Squarespace because on my very first office tour in my bedroom, in the closet, that was also sponsored by Squarespace. So they've been along for the whole journey. And if you haven't seen it yet or you don't know what it is, which I'm sure you do, they make websites, they're really easy. They've got great templates, they're always changing them. E-commerce solutions, podcast pay gates, passwords, everything you never knew how to do when it came to websites, you can do with Squarespace very, very easily. 2024, start of the year, it is my recommendation to you that you get a website. Even if it's one page, just a place where you can put a photo up and your contact details are there. It's your business card for the internet. You need one, you can get the domain and get it all up and running in less time it took me to talk to you about Squarespace. So head to squarespace.com/McKinnon, enter the code McKinnon for 10% off your first purchase. Get that website up before you even go to sleep tonight. I believe in you. And Squarespace believes in us. Okay, thanks for sponsoring this video. Do you know how much stuff I have in my hat? Name a card.
You're close.
Dude, close. Close, if you're the padded. That's... I'm really big on little accessories, tiny little things that have a lot of value. This little raccoon. My sister got me this guy because my house got attacked by raccoons. It was the Battle of Raccoon Ridge, and it was me versus all of them. They eventually went to my neighbor's house and like made families in his walls. Anyways, this little guy my sister gave me, on his back is a pirate flag. This little Lamborghini Countach, it's my son's favorite car. That and the Trans Am. So little things like this strewn about the office. The idiot meter man, that's art from an artist by the name of Sir John Cornella. I have a replica GO train because this exact train passes behind the office like 6 times a day. Lewis Hamilton's car, that's the year he should have won the world championship. Do we call him an 8-time world champion? Oh, it's getting heated. One of my favorite documentaries is Exit Through the Gift Shop. So if you haven't seen it, I do recommend it. This piece of art here is from Mr. Brainwash. I have 2 of his little spray cans that I keep on top. The art in this office is important to me.
This is my version of having a giant portrait here of my father. This is the watch my father wears. Peter, Andrew, and I took this photo with a phase 1 150 megapixel sensor. The detail on it is crazy. We did a whole video about it. 28 is actually my birthday, so it's also the day Rolex put on all their product photos. I love putting art on the walls. This is my favorite part of the whole office. This record player was handmade by a friend of mine out of solid pieces of limestone. The record table is built into the table. This built-in button, the light comes on, the table starts spinning, and you're ready to go with the receiver here. That's wired into these big limestone speakers that actually sound incredible. If I have this thing pumping, people's coffees downstairs in the shop will vibrate. It is my duty to do it, and I've done it. I've got all these records held up by this little Buster and Punch Travis Barker skull. This is a doorstop. Let's take a look at what I was listening to last. Kaleo. This record was only released in Iceland, so there's a bunch of tracks on here that aren't on their albums, which is cool. I love that there's nothing else on it. When I first got it, I wanted to put things all over the top. I just thought, oh, what a great surface for magazines, for books, for little figurines, all kinds of stuff. But then I started realizing the more I was decorating this space is that just because there's a surface doesn't mean something should technically go on it. I think what makes this beautiful and what makes this feel like a piece of art itself is the simplicity of it. So the only thing I have on here is a giant feather. That is the Castor record player. This is my pit bike, my 110 Buscadero. My friends over at Buscadero made this bike custom for me with the pirate graphics. I even got to ride this bike through like this abandoned area in Utah. So when we made this wall white and we got this crazy Colt Python shot from Peter as well, which reminds me of Rick Grimes because he used a Python. I just had the idea this motorbike would look so good in front of this print with everything being black and white. Like I gotta put it in the office. So we just wrote it in. The whole place smelled like fuel for 2 days, which I didn't bother me at all. Nothing better than octane and espresso. That's a recipe for greatness. This is Matt. We say hi to him first thing in the morning and when we leave at night. Matt is one of the most inspiring photographers to me. Stoked that I was able to take his portrait. So it's kind of a representation of my best and favorite work and just being inspired by this guy generally. So I thought it was a good place for it. First thing I see, last thing I see. It's a basketball net we never use. It's cool because the backing is leather, but because it's usually in shadow, you can't tell. So it's pretty useless. Throughout the studio, you will find lots of random cool pieces. Now, some of them are made by the same people. This bronze casted set of antlers, super heavy, that's screwed to the wall, also made by Castor. You will find hanging on that a custom tricorn pirate hat made by the boys at Coup de Tete. Pirate life and all. Would you be friends with me if I wore this out in public? I should wear this out. Why don't we just come right over to the whiskey cabinet? 85% were gifts from different people. You could point to a bottle, I could tell you who gave it to me and where they brought it from. We drink about 0% of this. We're more like kind of mezcal people here. Mezcal and coffee. Welcome to the captain's quarters. This is where Captain Kirk works.
This is my corner, but this is his fridge, his light, his art, his art, his art, his art, his art, his art.
He's got his own little section that's quiet and away from the procrastinating, distracting, nonstop talking colleague that works in that corner. I'm talking about myself there. We used to sit beside each other, but the problem was me. I distracted Kirk so much, I thought it was best if we separate ourselves. And you know what, it's funny because I used to get in trouble in high school for always looking out the window and distracting my friends and talking too much, and I always got moved. Nothing's changed.
Our bathroom is outside the studio, and I'm right next door to my friend Andrew Wilson, who does all my tattoos. We're behind a coffee shop, we're above a coffee shop, surrounded by coffee and friends on the coolest street in town. It doesn't get better than this. You could have said Ace of Spades, like I got one of those too. I don't even know what is this? Why is this so long? It just says The Magician. You ever seen the old $1 bills? Very, very cool. I used to have an old 50 in here. I think now I just have like the new 50s. I've also got some photos of my kids, but I won't show those ones. I should really use this more. I've taken 9 shots. I don't even know what's on this, but I've taken 9 photos. Oh, this always reminds me of my son. Like, just because he loves the Trans Am, so I keep that in there to remind me of him. Oh, that's what's causing the headaches there, bud. That's why I'm getting the line on my forehead. Can you put that away, actually? I don't want to lose that. Oh, that fits better now. Yeah, that was it. That was it, yeah.